Weakness is a very touchy subject for a lot of people because it's something that people don't want to acknowledge, weakness within themselves. Of course, we think of weakness, when we hear the word weakness, we think of the antagonist to strength, simply lacking strength. At a personal level, it goes a little deeper. It's a quality or a feature regarded as a disadvantage or a fault. Simply put it, it's a flaw that we have. Us as men, as men trying to prove ourselves and make ourselves better individuals in society, it's very easy to look at the flaws in society and look at the different points of weaknesses. Someone like me, for example, I look through a lot of YouTube videos of whatever, all those fat acceptance things and such. I even pointed that out in one of my motivation videos, which you should absolutely check out. I'll put the link right here. But it's very easy for us to point, right? But as the saying goes, you're pointing one finger at that person, you have 4 fingers pointing back at you, right? So us as men, it's very important to be able to acknowledge our own flaws before we even start pointing the fingers. So today I'll be discussing 6 of my biggest personal weaknesses. And when I talk about weaknesses, I look at it from a perspective of what are some things that are preventing me from reaching my greatest potential. And of course, I'd like to be able to talk about how I want to resolve those issues. So just going to jump straight into the first thing is not reading enough. This has been an issue that I've had since literally as young as I can remember. Me being able to pick up a book and read is just never interested me. It's like I just start reading a book, and I'm sure there are a lot of you that could relate to that. You just can't pick up a book for more than a few minutes and just stay invested into it. So, but the thing is, I put this as my number 1 because this is the thing that's perhaps inhibiting me from gaining the most knowledge of society. There are, of course, thousands, perhaps millions of amazing books with quality writing that you can learn so much knowledge and it can completely turn your life around. So that is absolutely something that I need to correct as soon as possible. I have my few, I suppose, motivational bursts where I do start reading a bit of a book, like a 300-page book. I get like 50 pages into it, I'm reading it every day, and then there's just a point where I just don't go back to it. And that's one of the biggest things that I've really despised about myself, is not being able to read consistently. Because I know I'm leaving a lot on the table. And that's something that my own dad has acknowledged, that it's very important that I should start reading. And as someone who's looking to go into the healthcare field in my future, things like scientific literature, it's very important to be a strong reader. So that's the number 1 thing I want to fix. How I'm going to do that? Honestly, I need to find things that books that I'm interested in, even things as simple free PDFs, which I have found. I just need to read like 5-10 minutes at a time. Just dedicate time throughout my day. I don't care if it's right before bed, first thing in the morning. Probably, honestly, I think the best time for me would probably be right before bed. Just take 5-10 minutes of reading, and perhaps that'll be enough if I make that into a habit to gradually increase the amount of time of reading to a point where it becomes second nature for me to want to pick up something. I want to get to a point where I have such a strong burning desire to read. And I feel like if I correct that thing, that might be the area in my life that causes the greatest change in my life, that perhaps gives me the most burst of knowledge, and I'll have this feeling of tools and resources that I have that I've never had before. So, and I've seen bursts of that when I have read like 50 pages in the book. I gained so much knowledge just from those 50 pages that it's like, man, why haven't I done this sooner? But enough of that. Number 2 is trouble cleaning up after myself. I tend to not be the cleanest person. Usually things as simple as like fixing my bed. That's one of the things I need to do every morning. The last couple of days I've been a little better with it. Usually when I'm home at my parents' house, I don't usually have as much of an issue with this. I tend to be a lot more obedient about that, I guess. But usually when I'm home by myself, I just struggle to do that to a point where I don't fix my bed for a week at a time. But I realize having those little accomplishments right at the beginning of the day is so important. Things like, you know, picking up trash, sweeping floors often. You know, I have a whole apartment to myself. It has 3 rooms. So I need to be clean all the time. And I think having this type of environment has helped me. But I just need to be a lot more conscious about cleaning myself, even not just within my apartment, things like any sort of workspace I have, even my car, right? Like my apartment here is clean, but my car, I cannot say the same for that. I've definitely struggled with my car, keeping my car clean. I just usually leave trash. It never gets really bad to a point where it's just like unbearable, thankfully, but you know, it's enough to a point where it bothers me because cleaning, the way you leave your workspace, your home space, the cockpit of your car, it really represents what type of person you are. So, and it represents what's going on inside the mind. So that's something that I feel like I need to correct as soon as possible. Number 3 is getting out of bed or getting into bed on time. So I'm recording this at 1 in the morning right now, which I find to be okay right now because I am being productive. I have, you know, been taking the time to plan my workout for the next week and to plan out this list and kind of think about what I want to say. And I think there are a couple of things that I can definitely start with right away. Is I need to keep my phone in this room, right? This is my living room space. And I have my bedroom, which is separate from my workspace. So perhaps I should be leaving my phone there. That way alarm goes off, I'm forcing myself to get out of bed, right? Because, man, a lot of times, even when it's like, I have a few days where I'm waking up at 8, 9 in the morning, it just gradually over time, it quickly gets to waking up at 9 in the morning, waking up at 10, waking up at noon. I don't necessarily like the feeling of that, even though pretty much my whole life I've been a night owl. And I'm sure there are some people that I could perhaps relate to. I'm sure some of you guys are just seemingly naturally night owls and you go to bed at 2, 3 in the morning and, you know, tend to struggle waking up. So that's definitely something I want to change. I do want to be more productive in the morning when the sun comes up, because it's not like I have a problem with it. Whenever I have work and I need to force myself to get up, I can definitely do that. I had jobs where I would have to get up at 4:30 in the morning so I could work traffic starting at 6 a.m. So I definitely have experience with that, and I feel like there's no excuse for me to start to do that. So getting myself to bed earlier perhaps would be helpful. I definitely plan on going to bed no later than 2 a.m. today, which, you know, not really the greatest time, and I totally understand that, but it's definitely something I'm going to work on more, and I'm still thinking of better solutions to force myself to get out of bed. Perhaps having a bottle of water right next to me, that's definitely something I'm going to do, because, I mean, it's good to stay hydrated because, you know, you tend to be dehydrated when you wake up, so that's definitely something good to do. Number 4 is that I wait to the last minute to do important tasks. So I definitely consider this an important task. And of course, I didn't start until 1 in the morning to do this. But I told myself, I'm going to get a video out as long as I'm awake today, no matter what I'm going to do. And even simple things such as emails, right? Getting back to, because I'm a teaching assistant. So it's like, it's my responsibility to answer emails as students. Sometimes I just wait way too long. And I mean, to be fair, there are a lot of professors like that, but, you know, I don't want to be that kind of person either. So that's definitely something I got to take care of. I definitely do. I tend to procrastinate for like pretty big things, unfortunately. It's not as much big things, because obviously any sort of important task I try to get on top of it, but it's just little things like emailing and such, procrastination of just those little things, procrastination of taking out the trash, which all comes down to organization and, you know, still cleaning after myself, all that kind of stuff, all sort of interconnects. That's definitely a big flaw that I have. Number 5 is communicate with family members more. So I tend to not be great at calling my mom or my dad as often. I feel like that's something I definitely should do more. Contact my siblings more, and that was definitely something I was very conscious of today. So I did contact them. I did have conversations with both of my siblings today. I should have called my mom today. That's something I want to do. I want to call my dad because, you know, he's working a lot, and you know, he's part of the reason why, like, I have the opportunity to be here today. So you know, I want to be able to show my gratitude that way by just, you know, giving them simple calls, even though it just a few times a week, and it doesn't even have to be that long. Just like check up on them. I think that's something that's very important. It's not necessarily a major issue for me, but it's definitely something that it's like, you know, family is such an important aspect of life. And if you have family in your life, please contact them, you know. Even if you're not too close to them, you know. And that's another thing. Like, it's not even just with my immediate family. I have some extended family members that contact me, and I tend to be really slow contacting them. I don't really call them. So I do want to be able to show that gratitude for them more, because every single one of my family members have had a very positive impact in my life in some way. And I want to be able to show that, you know. So something as little as communication can go a long way. So that's definitely something I want to do for sure. And of course, I do text my mom every day, but I feel like especially I think one of the best times to call either one of my parents is when I'm walking to or from work. So I think I'm going to definitely do that more often, be a lot more conscious of that, text my sisters more often, and all that kind of stuff. And number 6, and I'm sure most people have this problem, I'm on my phone way too much, and the biggest issue with this is most of it is just me watching YouTube videos. Like, I watch way too many YouTube videos in a single day. I'll probably put up a number of how many hours that I've put in a day. I don't know if I'm going to actually edit this video, but if I do, I will put it up right here. But I can guarantee it's probably over the 6-hour range per day, which is probably borderline unhealthy. Thankfully, I don't use social media very much. All I have is a Snapchat pretty much for the sake of social media, and I just use that to contact those closest to me, and that's it. I do also have a Facebook, but that's not something I really ever use unless I'm on the Facebook Marketplace. YouTube really takes most of my time, and I guess it's good because a lot of the videos that I do watch are videos that are, you know, that are helpful for me. I watch a lot of videos, particularly Hamza, Ice Cold JT, and a bunch of other creators that are around the self-improvement. But if I'm going to be honest, like, I still say that's only 20% of my watch time, if I'm being completely honest. Like, a lot of the times I'm watching videos on Gordon Ramsay. It's entertaining as hell. I'm watching Hell's Kitchen, Master Chef, Kitchen Nightmare. They're quite entertaining, so I do spend a lot of time on that. But yeah, that's definitely something I do want to lessen, because at the end of the day, I'm not spending the majority of my time on videos that are going to really improve me as a person. So that's definitely something overall. I think if I decrease that, then the time on my phone will definitely overall drastically decrease. And I got to really think of ways to do that. Perhaps if I just kind of exclusively limit myself, well, I can't entirely limit myself to self-improvement videos. Realistically, just because, like, the algorithm, they're just a wide variety of videos. So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out, but overall, those are what I would say are my 6 biggest flaws. And I think, being able to just acknowledge it, just being able to talk about it gives me a much better idea of how I need to resolve it. Because, yeah, I'm doing this video to, like, you know, help motivate people to improve themselves. But at the same time, it's like, you know, I'm talking to myself at the same time almost. So if you are watching this video and you did make it to the end of this video, I would greatly appreciate if you commented, what are some of your biggest flaws and how would you try to correct them? How would you try to tackle them? Give me like 3, 4, 5 different weaknesses and tell me how you're going to improve on one of them. If I can get just one comment like that, that will absolutely make my day, because I know that, you know, I'm doing what I need to do to help someone evaluate themselves. And that's sort of the purpose of being able to acknowledge and look at your weaknesses. It's I think the first step to self-improvement. So that is all for today. Thank you very much for watching this video. I would tremendously appreciate a like and a subscription if you did like this content. And thank you all for allowing me to be vulnerable with my personal self. And I hope I can encourage other men to be more open to talk about what's dragging them down in life. So thank you all. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And remember, it's never been easier to be above average. Take care.